Well, I thought I'd publish this video for different reasons. It's not necessarily a flying video, nothing's in flight, but I thought it was a great example of an engineer who owns an Aerostar that really thought out some changes to the electrical system and the way the airplane is set up that I thought would be interesting to those of you who are interested in Aerostars. So Jack Brush is about 80 years old, been flying for a long time, flew Air Force, flew T-33s and a lot of other stuff, and has had this particular airplane for 40 years and is planning on selling it. Pretty much not flying, doesn't have a mission anymore, and this is his description of the airplane. It's for sale. You can contact Jack at the email address that's down in the information about the video. So I hope you enjoy it. The first frames in the video were shot at the Aerostar Owners Association convention, which was the 50th anniversary, and I'll have a few more videos related to this as time goes on. So enjoy this and contact Jack if you have any interest in the airplane.
I'm Eric Reese. I sell real estate for a living, but I fly and instruct in the Aerostar for fun. Join us on our travel and training adventures in the world's fastest light piston twin.
Okay, my name is Jack Brush. This is November 21 Delta. I've had it for 40 years. I used to use it back and forth to the east and west coast. I don't have that mission anymore. And I've got my medical, but I'm just simply tired of flying in general. So I want this airplane to go to a good home. And by that I mean somebody that'll use it, that can go 1,000, 2,000 miles in a day. And this thing happens to be 10 to 15 knots faster than book and has some world speed records to demonstrate it. We're in the cockpit. I'm in a co-pilot seat, and what I'm going to show you is what's different in 21 Delta than other Aerostars. That's the highlights of it. We'll start with the seat that you're sliding on is smooth as glass. Most Aerostar seats aren't. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I'm going to take some pictures of that.
No, if you like. Okay.
I want that.
All right.
Yeah.
All
I just want to see what you did.
Okay, now to start with, the pull this back, the control yoke, you see is dropped 3 inches. Okay, most of them are high, and what Reese will show you is that if he's holding onto the yoke, now you can see the instruments. In the standard one, you can't. It blocks the second.
Yeah, in fact, the normal one is the edge of the yoke here is actually blocking your HSI.
Normal one center is here.
Yeah.
On the left side, the pilot side, there's a drop-down armrest. And you can slide that armrest forward about 5 inches.
Ah, very nice.
Now you can put your elbow on that armrest and your hand on the yoke.
Instead of on the edge of the door.
Instead of out there. The normal Aerostar's got a trim switch right there.
Yep.
So does that one. The normal one, you push it down and then go forward and back.
Yep.
And this one you don't. It's a hot trim switch. You just move the wire, so it just pushed back like a T-33 or a jet.
Right. So normally this you have to have this button down in order to activate the trim.
Not this one.
Okay.
And this, of course, only an autopilot function. The mini iPad goes with the airplane.
Okay.
Okay, there is Tulsa, and there's a couple interesting things about that picture. One, that there's an anti-reflective metallic coating over it.
Mm-hmm.
The second is there's a black panel up here to keep reflection down. Okay. And the inside of the sun visor is black, so that it goes a long way towards being able to read this thing in the daytime.
Yep.
Okay. Here's starting with the interesting stuff. The electrical system. You can see that there's a battery switch, and I've got the alternators on.
Yeah, which I do too.
Yeah, and leave them on all the time. Turn the battery switch on. If you see the emergency battery switch next to that?
Yep.
That's not normal. And what it is a 6 amp hour floating battery that charges itself off the airplane.
Okay, so you actually have a separate battery backup in this.
Separate battery backup. Takes 6 amp hours. There's the regular battery, there's the main, and there's the emergency one. So when you turn that on, you got an emergency backup, which powers that little 2-inch gyro for 4 hours, the pilot's instrument lights, the the elevator trim, because it's an electric trim airplane, and the map light.
Okay.
So if you had a total electrical failure, you got an hour or two of attitude indicator, elevator trim, which you really can't fly comfortably without it, and enough map lights to see your pedostatic system. Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing, there is an essential battery bus, like a ground power thing. If you turn that on, you've got the dump, you've got pressurization, transponder, a VO or a VHF, and can't read that one. So there, and it's got all the circuit breakers are over here because there's extra
That's what
circuit
those were for. All right.
And the advantage of that is if you were flying and had total electrical failure, except a battery, you could get the essential bus on, and that with the emergency buses, enough to make a transmission and fly and get you down from altitude. Most airplanes aren't that way at all. Now, I went to flight safety a lot, and every time something bad happened, that's a vacuum attitude indicator of the centric 4 type, the fancy kind. And that's an HSI vacuum. That's an electric HSI. That is a attitude indicator that's just right off the bus.
Yep, electric again.
Yeah, so I've got 3 attitude indicators. I also have, I think we turn it on, I don't know if we'll see anything, but turn on the battery and the radio master. Right
And your radio master is?
Right there.
Oh, it's right there. Okay.
Yeah, and then turn on turn on emergency battery too. Okay, so eventually what this is going to get going, well, this is a KLN 90B, and that one is brand new. I got it off of eBay. I love them. It's a GPS. It'll display down here on the multifunction display, and that's completely adequate for me for breaking speed records. And that's a map. It'll show you next red weather and PCAS. So that's what I fly with this VOR to VOR. It displays it down there, and of course you could make this direct if you wanted to. Okay, you see this is a small vertical speed indicator.
Yep.
That leaves room for a DME underneath, which I have always connected to number 2.
Okay.
So there's never any question in my mind. There's no turn coordinator. This is a straight military turn and bank needle ball, because you can recover from spins with that, if you ever did. And I've moved the gear things down here.
Okay.
If you look over on the left side here, all of the NIS stuff is in one place.
Right.
Lights,
where it should be.
Yeah. And the hot props work. They cycle like they're supposed to. You turn the pitot on, the blue light that you're going to see, you can just go ahead and turn the switch if you want.
Yours are in different places than mine. Okay,
Yeah.
boots, pitot. Yeah.
That's pitot.
Yeah.
Okay, you're going to see a blue light.
Yep.
Okay, that means that you are getting at least 10 amps of power into the pitot here, not that you just got voltage.
Same thing with the hot plate.
Yeah, the hot plate's not installed, but it's an Aztec hot plate.
Got it.
Doesn't drain much power. You think it's pretty skinny, but you can see through it pretty well.
Prop works, same thing. I like that. Nice lights.
Okay, I've got standard manifold pressure, standard RPM. These gauges are standard. At cruise, these are all exactly the same.
Okay.
There's no difference between them. This is a shed and fuel flow, which works just fine. And if you're experienced with shed and fuel flow things, they've got little tiny batteries you're supposed to change. Mine has a wire coming out the back and a great big D-cell that you can change with it on, and you don't have a problem with. This is a bit unusual. These are 6-probe Alcor EGTs calibrated to turbine inlet temperature. And we did that because kind of we know how to do it. And it's very helpful because I used to leave, that's 1600, and I fly 1550, and typically at 50% power it goes 240 knots. This is standard, this is standard. Yep. Now this is unusual now. Over on the left-hand side is a safe flight angle of attack indicator.
Okay.
The sensor is out there. Hey, do us a favor. Move the tab on the wingtip. Now push. Yeah, now push it. Now push it down. Watch that. Well, he pushed it down. Was over here in the green.
Okay.
So it works fine. It's not even supposed to work at all.
Okay.
But there it is, right there.
Yep, there it is working.
It works
yep.
fine. Now, I'm going to push the button.
So you got them all.
This is what you get an indicator for, are high and low fuel pressure, high and low oil pressure, high and low vacuum, and that's the gauge over here, and usually there's a little red thing.
Yep.
Instead, there's sensors that sense that same pressure.
Okay.
So if they are off, and of course they won't be now, if these are off, you've got the pneumatic pumps are putting out just the right amount of pressure to run your pneumatic system. Left and right alternator, high and low voltage gear. If the gear warning horn is on, you get a light too. Door unsafe is the standard when any door opens. There's a heater failure light. There's a low fuel light and electronic carbon monoxide and a regular thing.
Okay.
So these are all one place. In addition, there's another little annunciator panel over here, which is stuff that not so critical, but there it is. There's all the there's the transfer information
for the aux tank.
For the aux tank, so the off, full, and heater. For example, it's down here, and here it going.
Yep.
Those annunciators are there. The caution light is, if that is on, then one of these is on.
Gotcha.
So if you're flying,
so that's your master caution.
Master caution, and if you've flown with them, what you have is you're flying IFR. All you have to do is pay attention to that. Mm-hmm. If that's off, everything else that's important seems to be working.
And that's right in your forward field of vision, so you can see it.
Yeah. Now I'm almost apologizing about this. This is a K21A
audio panel.
Yeah,
older one.
Yeah. Now what's nice about it is, first, it's modified. It's got a switch here, which is speaker or phone. There was a middle position. It's off. I got tired of being in the middle position, so I fixed it. So it's either speaker or off.
Okay. Yeah,
you won't notice. See that white mark?
Yep.
If it's this way, you're on that comm frequency.
Oh, it's kind of a nice visual cue.
Yeah.
There comes my airplane.
If it's that way, it's on that one. These are standard VHF comms, but the one with the display is brand new. I sent it in and had the overhauled and the new things. There's a lot of circuit breakers. Oh, here's another little feature. This is cabin blower.
Yep.
Yeah, this airplane has flapper valves that shut off the intake air for the heat exchanger for the cabin.
Okay. So that's not the standard Aerostar bleed air heat, but it's just a...
First 20 airplanes had them.
Okay.
So what you can do is in cold, high altitude, you pull this lever, pull that all the way out, and you shut off little metal things that let cold air go in to cool up the cabin. And the result is that, a cold winter day with the sun shining, you don't need cabin heater.
Right.
So this
just is enough. Yep.
That's enough.
Okay.
And dark night, freezing, not so much. I'm going to turn this over because these circuit breakers, a lot more of them.
Yeah.
But effectively, they're no different than any other ones. There's a fire extinguisher circuit breaker, because I told you about it. This is an HTL fire extinguisher that was standard on Cessna 420s, and had it repackaged in here. And if you push a button on it, you're going to hear it.
Got it.
So if you get a fire, they're going to be the red lights.
Yep.
And when you turn it on, there's a yellow light that says the circuit is okay.
So I see something that's different.
What?
In your circuit breaker panel. That is the elevator trim breaker is where the aileron trim breaker is now. So that's different.
Here's what's different. You're faster than I am. There's, as you know, elevator up and down comes from either the autopilot
Correct.
or the elevator trim.
Yep.
Both of those go through that switch,
Okay.
which is simply two-pole switch. And if you've got runaway elevator trim,
Just flip it.
you flip the switch, cuts it
A
all
lot
out.
easier. Yeah.
Yeah, and you don't have to worry about it. Going down here a little bit, these are speed brakes. Let's see, you've got the. Okay,
Yep.
this comes off the hydraulic system. This was the first one, and nobody else.
So those
did.
are power pack.
No, they're not.
Oh, they're not.
They're direct on the hydraulic system.
No. I mean, they're the company power pack.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. And this was always an option. I thought they don't weigh anything, and they've been trouble-free.
Yeah.
So if you're not careful, and you decide to put the spoilers out, and you reach down and put the trim disable instead,
Yeah.
you don't like what happens
Yeah.
because all of a sudden you don't have trim.
Yeah.
That could be a clue. Okay, this is I got to be careful how I explain this. That low oil pressure light is sensing the oil that's coming out of into the turbo.
Okay.
It's
That's a good one to.
Yeah, it's 20 psi.
Yeah.
And if that oil is below 20 psi, that light comes on, means your turbo's unhappy. Well, as it happens, the oil pressure gauge over here, when it comes down to about 40, then there's a 20 psi drop, and then this light begins to come on. It's just a coincidence that matches that. Now, once it comes out of the turbo, it goes to a collector and a G rotor pump and back into the thing. Well, those are the plus or minus pressures on either side of the G rotor pump. You know, originally we just stuck those in there just out of curiosity. But what you see is the gauge pressure, compared to outside, going into the scavenge pump out of the turbo.
Okay.
It's usually 0. If it's positive, it means the scavenge pump broke and the turbo is getting pressurized with oil.
Okay.
You don't like that.
Yeah.
If it's negative, way negative on the other side, means there's a blockage in the oil of the turbo.
Okay.
So a combination of no pressure light on and it's somewhere 0, nice to have. I was going to take those off, but they were so happy to be there.
Why not?
They're not really there. Okay, prop sync works fine.
Okay.
The fuel gauges are deadly accurate to a gallon.
Yep.
The the aux fuel thing, and I have a 337 from Steve Spear. The gauge, the tank is here. Transfer normal manual off is right here, and that's pretty easy. This is a standard Century 4, and I've had great luck with them. They work for 15 years, and then you fix them, and they work for 10 years.
Yeah.
So mine's fine. The air conditioner is this is got battery on there.
Yeah. When you turn it off.
No, leave it on.
Okay.
Okay, there's the cabin fan low.
Okay.
And you'll turn around and you say it should be coming out of this. No, it's coming out directly out of that.
Right. Out of the
Right
back.
straight with vanes.
Yep.
And that's the cabin fan high, which is even more.
Yeah.
And off, the air conditioner, you can turn it on in the ground and it's cold on a hot day like this and leave it on for takeoff. So I've found that helpful.
Okay.
Okay, now I'm looking around. Everybody, this is standard emergency one.
Yep.
There's a halon fire extinguisher right there.
Okay.
Pop it off. There's also a crash axe behind here, so you can chop your way out of the fan.
Yep.
But I don't much want to do.
Shall we turn your masters off so we don't run the battery down?
You turn it on.
Okay.
Okay. The pressure is. I fly. This is technique, but I fly with this all the way this way, which is. How do I do it? All the way this way, which is 10,000 feet, and that's that mark right here. So I have it set so I'm unpressurized below 10,000 feet, pressurized and stuff, and I live at 7, so I never mess with it. The intercom is a standard one, volume, squelch, you can go pilot up and down. This is, that's a handle to pull yourself around.
Yep. That's the over 65 handle.
Whatever you want.
We need one up here too.
Yeah, we do. See how I'm sliding back and forth?
Yeah.
co-pilot seat works just like that. It's nice and smooth.
All right, I'm gonna pop out here.
Okay. One-time STC nose link disconnect pin.
Oh, this is for the pin so they can drive it around and not worry about breaking your steering actuator.
Drop it, put it up. Hi, Joe. Stick the bolt in. You turn the wheel lock. This goes locks on time.
Okay.
It's a little awkward to crawl underneath it, but it's a whole lot better than get it in and out easily. Now, you'll never see this. You see that?
Yeah.
That is a machined aluminum bushing that is just a spacer, but it goes out because it protects water from going into the nose wheel bearing. Helps a lot. Run your hands along here. Just run your fingers.
Huh?
Run your fingers. All the edges are smooth.
Yeah, they're really smooth. Another one of your speed mods.
Well, it took forever.
Yeah.
I don't know what it helps. The normal 601P has a great big hole here.
Yeah.
I healed it up. There's a little bit of linkage here, and then the flappers in here.
Okay.
Run your hands on the de-icing boots.
Yeah, that's all super smooth.
Yeah.
No ridges. That's an airfoil too.
Yeah. Do the same thing out here.
Oh yeah.
Top and bottom.
I'm glad to see you take care of your boots. I see so many of these airplanes, the boots are just horrible.
Well, these are old boots, but I got to keep them alive because I don't want to redo that.
Right.
Okay. Run your hand on this.
Oh yeah.
Run your fingers on this.
Okay, nice and smooth.
They're all down there. So cutting off the exhaust things doesn't hurt anything, but it makes crud on the back, but it's worth something.
Yeah.
Everything there. You can't do it without profiling, can you?
Nope. Well, I found mine. I did that and moved a little bit. It was click, 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 and I had a turbo bracket broken.
Yeah, I used to have fillets and all sorts of things there, and they're gone. And
so you changed this duct.
Yeah,
I could see that right away. So that's angled up.
Yeah, but
that's the intake for the combustion air for the heater, and this is the exhaust for the heater, and that's cut off a little bit as well.
So this goes in.
Yeah.
And where's the one that goes out? Somewhere.
Well, this one.
Anyway, that goes in. It works fine.
Yep.
That's a decal.
Okay. Yes, that is a good decal.
This you may not remove.
May I stick this in the plane?
Sure.
Okay.
This you may not remove. I told you the story.
Yes. Okay, so they cannot remove that. So whoever has that has to do that.
No, they have to leave it.
They have to leave it.
Yeah, or they put their hand on it. Anyway, that's what Indians used to reward their horses if they took them on a long and dangerous journey. That's a low drag antenna, VOR.
Yeah.
And that's low drag. That's low drag.
Okay.
And Reese, you see the inlet right there? I just rounded it. So the drag coefficient of that is 0.2. The drag coefficient of the other one is 1.0.
Okay.
So I'm getting a little bit here and there.
So you got rid of the battery cooling inlet?
Yeah, because the batteries are forward.
So you did that. All right.
Yeah. The paint is almost 15 years old.
But this has been hangered.
Huh?
This has been hangered.
Yeah, but it's one queen of the fleet or runner-up 5 times. That's my scooter thing. That with the airplane goes 2 brand new overhauled, 15-year overhauled high altitude turbos.
Okay.
Left and right, and a 10-year-old Kelly alternator.
Okay.
And I've had those on for a long time. This is flame proof.
Okay.
And you look forward, it's pretty normal. But I've got all that stuff forward here. That's oxide or the hydraulic reservoir.
That all new.
And one little, you see that elaborate blue thing coming out for the air vent?
Yeah.
Usually there's some kind of a hokey hose.
Yeah.
I got tired of that, so I got that thing and did it better.
Okay.
Right at see where the cowl comes back?
Yeah.
That's a piece of some kind of plastic.
Okay.
Beveled so you get some kind of a thing here.
Yeah.
That's the Halon angle of attack. I smoothed this off every bit as much as I could.
Yeah.
So
But I mean, back here, you've probably started to get a little separation anyway, even going fast.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be an aeronautical guy, but I figured the smoother the better.
Yeah.
And you probably know
And
something a little
these
weird.
gaps are much less than normal. Good.
Yeah, because I pounded down the edge.
Yeah.
So it would come up here and touch. Doesn't seem to hurt anything.
No. You had 6850 gross weight on this, right?
6,300.
Okay, but looks like you've got a lot of the work done already for the 6850.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
It's got the nose gear beef up for the 6800 is already in.
Okay.
And I polished the back of my brakes just for you.
Thank you. Mine need to be painted.
Paint
I want to paint. I want to paint them Ferrari red.
That would be great. I'm going to show you something you already know. If you take a little fuel from somewhere.
Yep. One of them.
Okay, that's just regular typing paper.
Yeah.
Well, let me show Dick this. This is regular typing paper. That's fuel.
Yeah.
You pour it on like that. If there's even 10% jet fuel in it, it won't evaporate.
Oh.
It doesn't take long. There's no jet fuel in it.
Yeah. That's great.
And I go through that about 1 every 2 years, so I have to cut some more typing paper. Well, there's one last thing.
Okay.
You see the screen for the intercooler?
Yeah, it's bigger.
Look how big mine is.
Yeah. So
It
you
used
get
to be
more.
real fine, and then they've got spray paint on it, and I decided Machin got it wrong. So I put in a fatter stainless steel one.
No, that's great.
And now, one other thing I need to tell you. There's this magic stuff that I smear on the wings that accelerates the air coming up
Okay.
and pushes it out the back, and it's worth 20 knots. It goes with the airplane.
Okay. Lemon pledge.
Don't tell him. Don't
tell him.
He guessed.
Huh? I was right.
You are fully informed.
Well, I've used it for years. Ever since I've been flying, it's great on the boots.
Yeah.
And cleaning the windows.
The reason this looks bad is I pulled it off for the speed record attempts.
Okay. Yeah, you weren't worried about slow speed handling.
I don't know if you even need this darn thing, really.
You do it for the FAA.